welcome back to the podcast. This is Rolling in the Ozarks. We're joined by Randy, Jay, and Hubble. And I'm Jim Trovo. How's everybody doing?
Doing good.
Doing well.
Super good.
Rolling.
I'm making things awkward there to start off.
Immediately.
Best Will Ferrell intro ever. Yes. I want to know how you're doing. Randy, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's week's almost over. Can't wait to get to the weekend.
Hubble, what about you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Busy at work, but I am excited to be going to an RTT this weekend in Springfield. So headed up to Metagames.
What's that RTT called?
It is a Highlander one. I will need to look that up. It is being hosted by our friend Kristen. It is just called the April 4th AOS Highlander RTT. So I'm pretty on the noise. Nothing special with it.
Well, cool. Jay, what about you?
Yeah, things are good. Life is busy. We're 14 days away from opening night for the show that I am directing and producing, and yeah, things are great. Sets come together. Cast is doing great. Tech is teching. Next week is tech week, so the chaos is starting. Most importantly of all, though, but most importantly out of all of that, my beloved wife's birthday is tomorrow, and so
Happy birthday, Megan.
yes, she's great. We love her. So we have some plans. I'm playing hooky. This is my one rehearsal I miss a year. We're gonna go do some fun stuff. But yeah, life is good.
Spousal birthdays are the best, man. They really are. Because
They're
like
so
when you get to surprise your spouse or do something special for them, it's always a great treat.
Yeah, wholesale. And it's 35 for her, so she's really excited. And we're thugging. We're gonna have a blast. It's gonna be a good day. And then we'll probably do some other stuff on Saturday, which is why I'm not going to the RTT. Because I get to spend it with my lovely wife. I'm really excited. I love her.
Cool. What's everybody working on?
I'll start. I'm working. So recently I painted up a D&D miniature for a campaign I'm running. One of my players printed out a halfling thief or rogue. Painted that up for him, and yeah, and I sprayed a bunch of Skaven that I got recently the other day. So got them all primed up. I'll start working on them.
It's another rat boy coming in.
Yes.
And shoot me off the board.
Rats are fun.
Rat
Yeah.
boy. Oh.
I glued up Darkwater, the Maggotkin.
Oh.
This is a phenomenal model. Just way bigger than I was expecting there. I thought he was just going to be closer to the Lord of Plagues. No, he's going to smash things. So I'm very excited to play some Maggotkin and get that all rolling. So it's all glued up. It's done.
We love it. Right now, I'm painting through my Seraphon backlog. So you can't see it, but off to my left is an entire little table of dinosaurs that I need to paint. And I'm working through them right now. So you have somewhere in the neighborhood of 90 Saurus warriors that
Cool.
I have wandered into.
I'm actually wondering if I should use Lumineth or Stormcast for our next RTT up here at GXE. So it's the 10 unit one where you have to have 10 units, right?
Go
Yes.
wide. That is what we are doing.
I have been like trying to create like a philosophy of army construction. And what's better, like more 3+ save guys or more units that can do weird stuff with magic and everything? You know, that's where I am in the hobby right now. Hey, so what are any new releases that struck your eye or made you kind of like gape or actually maybe barf a little bit in your mouth? I don't know. What's going on with the new releases?
I know with cities being released at Adepticon, That was massive. Now everyone's going on about cog forts because they are amazing. I am going to be running 5 cog forts at one point. And then there'll be legend in the next edition of AOS because they're too overpowered. But one of my favorite models, and I just kind of like weird looking models to begin with, is Erasmus Zone, the enlightened one. He's the guy with the eagle and ram head, 2-headed griffin guy. I think he looks super fun. I'm super excited to get him and put him out on the field. It's kind of a nod towards the other like multi-headed models that they had in cities that we're pretty certain are going away. So I just think that's the one to shout out outside of the many awesome infantry units that we have. And then, of course, everyone else was just absolutely falling in love with the couple gate Gargants. They are going to have a grand time together smashing people on the field. So yeah, I think that's kind of just been that Adepticon reveal is absolutely stellar for cities.
I thought the terrain piece, the Donner's Triumph, looked pretty amazing as well too. Might be a manifestation, but I'm not sure yet. But it looks pretty good with
terrain.
With the knight on top. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I would agree. For me, it's I don't know if it's the Grenadier unit that has the Bardishes and heavy guns. And I think I'm not sure if it's the same unit or if it's a different unit. There's one of them that has a dude with a flamethrower.
That is the Grenadiers.
I am in love with that. I'm a secret closeted Napoleonics fan. And so I do love a gun line. And so just getting to see Fusiliers now with like these heavier kind of infantry, I think it's incredible. And then is it Jorvin Hale?
The single foot hero.
Yeah, the single foot
generic hero. Jorvin Creel.
Jorvin Creel, yes. Heir of the Kraken as an Anvil Guard nod, which is a great 1-2 punch in my mind. Just looks super cool.
But he has a cat, so he's great. He's got a panther.
Yeah.
Got a kitty cat.
Yeah.
What's the name of the D&D character who has a panther? Is it Drizzt?
Drizzt. Yeah.
Is it Drizzt?
I don't know.
No,
Someone will correct it.
You just made many people angry on both sides of that.
I'm about to butcher this. Drizzt Do Erden?
Okay, now careful now. There's someone who's going to write in.
Right?
Yeah, find us on Discord.
I want to make more people angry. I'm not going to talk about my favorite AOS thing. I'm going to talk about my favorite Warhammer Underworlds thing. There was a Warhammer Underworlds warband released, like an update released, and it was a Lumineth Huracan warband. And there is a blinded archer with like the whole like bandana over his eyes and everything. And I was just like, oh my God, they used the Wind Spirit for this like sight thing. And I was like, dude, that's my favorite thing. Cause like, I'm a huge Underworld guy. That's my main game. And I know there was cool AOS stuff, but like when I saw the Lumineth Underworlds again, we hadn't had once for like 4 years. So I was super excited.
Yeah, I saw that come out, and then immediately people posted about, is it Chirrut Imwe from Rogue One?
I am one with the Foss, and the Foss is with me.
Is that me? Oh, such a good, yeah.
I don't know if I got that right.
No, that's right. That's right.
Yes. Okay. A highly underrated. Actually, is it underrated by a Star Wars movie? Because I know a lot of nerdlings love that movie. I know they do.
I think the consensus that I've seen, and someone's gonna write in now or whatever, is that if you are not a fan of the sequel series, like with Rey and Finn and Poe, that you found your home in Rogue One.
I can see that. Yes. I know many fans like that. Yes, I do.
Rogue One is the best Star Wars movie. Fight me.
No, it's Clone Wars.
No. It's okay to be wrong.
I love Clone Wars. Oh my gosh, that's my childhood favorite movie. Watched it so many times.
Podcast, there's just too many of them.
Move on.
Yeah, okay. But it's still it's a fun topic. All right, we are here for the main segment of our show, and that is going to be the topic of the new battle profile update. And to lead us off with that conversation, we're going to give you and hand you off to Hubble.
All right. So clearly we had all these battle profiles come out, and there is just points, reductions, and drops everywhere. That is the main theme that we're seeing, with my own list having over like 100 points being dropped here and there, and it's not just one or two. So one of the things that I'm really taking an interest in while we go over maybe our highlights here, our GTs that we have an average unit of 8.65 units brought. So on average, an army has 8 to 9 units on the board. So you can obviously go ahead and take the extra 100 points that you're getting. If you're not LRL, which just got plus 10 to light, then you're really what is Games Workshop trying to do here? Is it trying to get it up to 9 to 10 units, or are those 8 to 9 units really trying to be, stronger, more powerful units coming across? I do feel that most often while I'm playing, it is that 8 to 9. Sometimes you just run into the big spam lists, but so what do you guys think about that?
I think it's interesting that I'm going to cite my sources because I'm that guy. I was listening to Rob from The Honest Wargamer this morning on my way to work, and he mentioned the fact that almost across the board, we see infantry points drops. And he highlighted two that I thought were really interesting. And it was the fact that in Iron Jaws, Brutes dropped 20 points and Ardboys dropped 10 points, which, for the uninitiated, Brutes are just an absolute heavy hitter unit. And so I do wonder if, in conjunction with some other stuff that I'll mention here in a second, if we do see GW pushing toward more stuff on the field as a way to continue selling models. One of the interesting pieces that I don't know if it's a mistake. It's a corporation. It's never a mistake. What we saw with the release of the Mortec Triaxes. This is the wonderful new set of archers for the Ossiarch Bone Reapers. They come in unit sizes of 10. They come in a box of 20. So you get 20.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Comes in reinforced, man.
So that's the optimistic, right? Is that nice Papa GW is giving you a reinforced unit already. Although, I think Gentry maybe as a guy who knows, feels like this is a ramp on to more models on the field. And I tend to be a little bit of that way personally. So I don't know. I think we're seeing these because it's pretty across the board point drops. You mentioned Light of Eltharion, and as a Flesh Eaters player, I'm bound by honor and oath to tell you that actually we got hit with a major nerf because every single artifact every single artifact and most of our traits skyrocketed points. Insane. Savage Beyond Reason, which is like one of it, and granted, I understand, skyrocketed 40 points. It went from costing nothing to 40 points.
I have to ask you, what does that do? I saw that, and I am flabbergasted to see 40 points on an enhancement.
Savage Beyond Reason is a heroic trait, I believe. I'm double checking. It's a heroic trait. It comes from the book. And what it is you add 1 to the attack characteristics of the melee weapons, including companion weapons, if it didn't use a fight last turn. You add 2 to the attack characteristic of those weapons if it has not used a fight at all this battle. So the sauce is you put that on a abhorrent Ghoul King on Royal Terrorgeist, and then suddenly you are just even more of a blender than you were previously. And so like it, we saw abhorrent Ghoul Kings on Terrorgeist and on Royal Zombie Dragon. I think both go up by 10 points, maybe 10 or 20 points, something like that. And so very much GW saw the seven monster list and went, no fun allowed. Go back to playing infantry models, which, again, tinfoil hat, we're pushing towards larger armies is my hot take. I think 5th edition AOS, massive, or not massive, but like lots of models on the table.
Randy, what about you?
If we are pushing towards, this is going to be a sub question right here because you intrigued me with that. More models on the table. How do you feel that? How does that affect the game? I mean, the boards, I feel like pretty much end in a scrum, kind of like in the middle most of the time. Mm-hmm. So more models on the table. Does that negatively affect the game? Or
I'm going to actually push this question to you, Randy.
Okay.
I was thinking this because you play 40K.
Yes.
And you have that experience. And
yes.
then you get to see both sides. So what's your thought?
My thought is I enjoyed the AOS, like, oh, I got 8 units on the table. That's all I have. At 40K, I got 12, 15 units on the table. Like 4 trash pieces, and they're doing objectives and stuff like that, or secondaries and stuff. I enjoyed the. It felt like AOS was a smaller game. The way AOS is, I don't know if it's a benefit to have more models on the table, because we are a fantasy-based game with swords and bows, mostly swords. So we're running to bonk each other on the head. So I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out, but I mean, more models on the table is always good. So we'll just see.
I think from a hobby perspective, one of the reasons, and Gentry, you can correct me on this, but like it felt to me like one of the issues that we saw with like 8th edition Warhammer Fantasy Battles was to get a 2K army or whatever the size was. I don't know exactly. That was a lot. It's a lot of little dudes running around on the table. And so my heart goes from a hobby perspective. Is this going to make entry into what is already a luxury hobby? Like, let's not mince words. It's a luxury hobby. Even more difficult, which I don't love. That, to me, is not the move. But again, corporations do corporation things.
I think that GW does a very good job, and AOS especially, of giving you anywhere between 7 to 160 models for an army build. And they do it in a manner of, hey, here are all these factions, here are all these lores and everything. Do you want to swarm? Do you want a hero hammer? Do you want to do all this? I think they do a really great job of like giving you tons of variety in what you want to do. Now, is there balance issues? Absolutely. But they provide you such a great flavor. Okay, so who do you think were the biggest winners or losers in this new update, and why?
I think, I got the raw math here. This is just looking at the net impact to the army-wide. If you know me, I love my spreadsheets, so I put this into a spreadsheet, of course, and pumped out the numbers here. So Stormcast is a net army or net down 250 points. Soulblight is down 220 points, and Seraphon is down 180 points. And so those are our top 3 winners. The people that got the worst of it is LRL is up 10 points. That's light. Disciples of Tzeentch is, it's one of the non-hero units that I can't think of. And then Feck is up 10, but that doesn't include their war scrolls. So when we're just talking about this net change, it's their core war scrolls. It's not including any of the artifacts that got hit or any of the battle formations. This is just looking at the core war scrolls, no Scourge of Gyran. So what I'm finding really interesting from a super high level is that when we're looking at Stormcast, this is minus 200 points to their heroes. So that's where we have a huge drop off, and then minus 50 to their non-heroes. And then Soulblight is minus 160 to their heroes and minus 60 to their non-heroes. And then Seraphon is minus 70 to heroes and minus 110 to their non-heroes, which we obviously know you're taking way more non-hero units. I think that out of those top three, Seraphon's going to be the biggest winner from the net impact, especially since one of those units is the Agrodons getting cheaper. And if you haven't been eaten by an Agrodon unit, you haven't experienced life yet. So that's just the super highlights there from raw data, but there's some detail behind it.
Oh, I love this. I love this so much. And actually, when you made the Agrodon comment, I was like, absolutely. When I was looking at those lists, I thought it was interesting to see the number of zeros with Daughters of Cain, Sylvaneth, and OBR. Right. So 0 changes across the board with them, meaning that new books, exactly. Right. And the OBR, I see OBR. Don't they have a new book out like a while ago?
A month and a half at most.
Yeah. So not a lot of changes for them. We don't have a lot of OBR in our area though, so like I don't know what it's really like to play against them.
If anyone is interested in our area, there are a ton on the used shelf at Games Explosion.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can easily get a very competitive OBR army from Games Explosion chilling here for sub $500.
I think the biggest winner from the updates here is LRL. Minus 10 or a plus 10 to the light. That's it. That's all the changes.
That's so rude.
They're the biggest winner. Maggotkin, I would say, follows up with that. We actually got points decreases. Sure, Belga went up, Radagast went up, but other things went down. And I don't really think it affects the list that much. Not saying my list was a good one at Hog Pit, but it actually went down points. So I don't think the changes will affect Maggotkin much. It obviously doesn't affect LRL much. They did get a rules change that the light can't teleport to Regiments of Renown, I believe. Yeah, that's about it for them. I think they're in a great spot to just keep at the top. Now it'll be interesting to see if the effect of other armies bringing more units on the table does anything to that. Yeah, I think that they're probably the biggest winner of this update.
You hit it on the head. I think that you just mentioned that there's so many units that got changed, and yet your list maybe didn't change that much correctly. And there's so many units that I'm just like, oh, look at all this green. Points reductions. But at the end of the day, I'm excited to maybe see some stuff that I never see before hit the tabletop.
I mean, it's a great point. I reconfigured an Ideneth list that I'd been playing, and I managed to fit 18 eels and a turtle into the list. And to keep it a 2-drop, because I'm degenerate. And I was like, listen, we're doing this. They dropped, I don't know. Sorry. It's fascinating. I don't know. I would love to be a fly on the wall and to hear what was the design philosophy that led to this battle scroll. Like what's the move? What's the play? What's the thought process? Is it, especially knowing that in sub 2 months, or somewhere in that neighborhood, two-ish months, we're gonna have a new GHB. There's a new set of seasonal rules, right? So the General's Handbook, in case you don't know, for those of us listening at home, is the seasonal rules for competitive Age of Sigmar. And so it introduces some new concepts. It introduces, this last time around, we got the Scourge of Gyran war scrolls, which you've heard us mention. Occasionally, we'll call them soggy war scrolls, that they give a little bit of depth to some otherwise maybe less played war scrolls. We saw the advent of the Scourge of Gyran Star Vet on Carnosaur, which almost nobody brought a star vet on Carno for the longest time. And then it was like, now it synergizes with Agrodons. And it's like, why would I not bring this? This is huge. So we'll see. And that should have its own set of points as well, I think. So it'll be interesting. It'll be a very interesting time.
All right. So any last thoughts about the new updates?
Yeah. Skaven. Huge points decreases there. Heroes went down 140 points. Non-heroes, 40 points. If I'm reading that correctly from Hubble Stats. They're going to shoot you. That's what they're going to do. They're going to shoot you off the board. We're going to roll 2s and 4s and shoot you off the board. And hopefully you don't roll your armor saves or ward saves. But yeah.
Those Giselles.
Giselles went down. That's amazing. The Scourgers, which I ran in one of my games last week, also went down. They're really good. I like them. There's 2d6 attacks and then crit 2 hits as well. That's nasty. Yeah. For 170 for 3. Yeah. That's I like them. So yeah, I think Skaven's going to be in a good spot too. They just basically all went down in points except for the Plague Priest on the Plague Furnace, and that's it. It's mostly all green. Actually, all green. So looking forward to running new units on Skaven list.
I'll add up here. My ogres, this list I'm taking, this RTT, went down 110 points going into the weekend. And so immediately I adjusted that. We are going to be committing war crimes with how much damage we are putting out. If everyone gets an extra unit, I don't care because I already do overkill damage already. So we are just going to smash everything, and it's going to be painful for everyone, and then I'm going to suddenly be up like 50 points before the next season begins. The fact that Iron Guts are now cheaper than Gluttons, I believe at 210, which that took a while to happen, is amazing, and Run Atom is going to be the best strategy in all of AOS. So anyways, I just love my ogres.
Why is Run Atom going to be the best?
We can get the Blood Feast off, which is the +1 to attacks. It's just so good. The Iron Guts, just let me keep hitting you with Iron Guts. It's so much fun.
Good times.
It's hateful. It's hateful.
Kill the light and a Lyor, and finished off a light, and kill the Blade Lord. They just lift things up. It's fun. Everyone loves it.
I think one other thing just to be mindful of with this Battlescroll is that we did see an update to the rule around auxiliary units. So auxiliary units was a concept introduced in 4th edition AOS, where we had shifted toward a regiment structure. So certain hero units unlock being able to bring certain other units in their regiments. And the auxiliary system allowed for you to bring units that didn't necessarily fit into a regiment, and you could just say, cool, I'm going to take a bunch of these guys, and what it technically did is it gave your opponent, if you had fewer auxiliary units than your opponent, they got a command point for free. I'll take rules that I almost never saw played for 500, Alex. But what we really saw was the rise of kind of like doom stacking or spamming with the auxiliary. And so the kind of the poster child for this was the 19 spawn of Chotek army that showed up out of Seraphon. And people, depending on who you were, you thought, this is incredible. What a meme. I'm here for it. Or you thought, God, why do I have 19 little dudes spitting magma at me? This is terrible. I hate this here. I'm a fan of novelty. So I love the spam, but we saw this change happen where after the first auxiliary unit, there is a stacking points cost. It's a tax on top of the point cost for the unit. And I believe it's 20, 40, 60, and it continues to go up from there. which I think personally, I find to be repugnant. I feel like this is hateful and not a good game design. I think if GW wanted to avoid spam armies, they should write better war scrolls. It's a hot take, or at least build synergy. Like, it's the same reason for a hot minute we saw Night Haunt buoyed by the 8 Pyregeist list. Sure. The way that you correct that is by editing war scrolls, not by changing a whole rule of the edition, in my opinion. So we did that. I think one of the other things that we can kind of transition to and talk a little bit about is like the biggest loser from this battle scroll, right? And the obvious answer is fun. But realistically, as a Flesh Eater Torch player, I felt like Flesh Eaters got hit really hard with all of our enhancements, getting massive stacks of increases. I think that we struggled a little bit in terms of that. I think it's tough to identify a biggest loser because everybody gets more toys.
I think Feck is the biggest loser here.
No, it absolutely is. It absolutely is. Yeah. My poor knights, they've taken everything from us.
You saw on my spreadsheet that your enhancements, I was like, holy, when I saw that, it was holy cow, this is bonkers.
You hid the lead. You buried the lead a little bit because it's just note +10 on heroic traits and artifacts. Like, bro, we literally went up like 90 to 100 points based on artifacts and traits. But it's okay. Feck is a problem child, and I love them for that. So that's what I would say is the biggest loser. I think there's a lot of really good stuff that came out of this battle scroll. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Are all their artifacts and heroic traits cost points now? Every single one of them?
Let me check.
Almost.
It's
except
almost.
Except one. Cruel Taskmaster is the only one that doesn't.
Almost. Yeah. That was it. It was like all of them went up. It was like you couldn't have just done the one that you didn't like. No, all of them had to go up.
That's brutal.
Yes, every artifact or enhancement that we can take, except for Cruel Taskmaster, now cross points. And again, hey, here's how we change games. We don't actually modify the war scroll. We change everything else around it because heaven forbid.
Looking at the average cost of the hero versus the unit decrease overall, right? If we look at the negative 62.5 for the unit versus hero versus the negative 37.6 for the non-hero. Oh, I got that mixed up again. Sorry. Heroes are more. It's 62.5. Non-heroes are 37.6. So that would mean these lesser armies can reinforce one more unit than another army can that has been a powerful army. Essentially. Army-wide.
Heroes got cheaper.
Yeah.
More than non-hero units on average. Yeah. I think that you don't bring a lot of heroes usually. So that's where the non-hero unit, yes, they did go down in points, but it's going to be not as impactful. If they decreased all the non-hero units, it would have made like maybe 2 units could have gotten squeezed back in. But they did do just mostly heroes, which was interesting.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. It looks like we are wrapping up here. And as I was listening to last week's episode, there was a mistake. I just want to correct it. Our lovely Herba was one of our founding members, and just making sure that he hears that. We love you so much, Herba, and thank you for being with us at the very beginning, going to that Greenhorn tournament.
Yeah. In that same vein, I think it's important when you are in a position of authority or leadership or whatever this looks like, right? If you have a platform, you got to own the spaces where you make mistakes. That's just part of being a good person. And so, like Hubble said, Herba was our third leg of the tripod at the very start. And he has been a dear friend and has been a rock star. And so When we failed to acknowledge that was a mistake on our part. And so we are in the business of fixing mistakes. I tell you what's not a mistake, though. Toppling a Titan. So next week on Rolling in the Ozarks, we're going to discuss how do you smoke a King Broad in a single engagement. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be a delightful time. These three gentlemen have some killer ideas, I already know. I will unfortunately not be able to be there, but I will be with you in spirit and also in silent judgment over anything that Hubble chooses, because he's got interesting choices.
Yeah, I'd like to take a minute to shout out Obed from also in Feast Brigade. He, the lovely gentleman, made the Rolling in the Ozarks logo for us, and it looks amazing. You will see it actually on this episode that we start linking everywhere. He did a great job. I told him, man, this looks fantastic. So shout out to Obed for not only making the logo, but also being a great person in our little AOS community over here, setting up all the RTTs and all that, making sure everyone's happy with terrain layouts and all that. Love Obed, great guy. We'll always shout him out when needed because he is a great person.
Yeah. And hey, if you're just discovering this podcast or discovering the terminology Feast Brigade or whatnot, if you're at a Warhammer event, 40K AOS, or any other gaming event, and you see anybody in Feast Brigade apparel, just approach them and talk to them about, hey, what's that? How can I maybe play one of you guys? Because we're all about engaging and growing our community, and so that's why we wear that apparel, and we're super thankful to the people that founded it and actually promote it to this day.
And to wrap it out is the basic shilling. I am not afraid of begging for attention. No, we are. Please, if you enjoy this, give it a 5 stars on Spotify or Apple podcast. And we would love if you want to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We are gladly accepting any feedback. Thank you so much for listening, and hopefully we can catch you rolling in the Ozarks next time. Bye, y'all.
Bye.